Now we are.
All right. Did you know that 1.6 million songs are written every year? That is not necessarily how many are published, but it is how many are theoretically written. That's how many people estimate. Now, I'm going to be giving you some information about how drummers, or specifically me, how I compose my parts of a song. So, there are two major parts that a drummer will pay attention to, and from those come a couple of subcategories that I want to talk about. The two major parts, according to Masterclass, are going to be the groove that the drummer plays, a fill, I'll get more into detail into these in a minute, the pickup, the breakdown, and then the build-up. So the groove is kind of like the backbone of the song. It's the beat that you hear during the verse. It can happen at different intensities within different parts. So it might be more powerful during a chorus, or it might be less powerful during something like a verse, especially early on in the song. The type of groove that can be done really kind of varies. Most of this stuff depends on what kind of song that you're playing. And so it's really important to pay attention to the specific song that you're playing. The fill is a kind of like a lick that is used to elevate the energy within a song to bring it up to higher volume naturally. It is really great for just energizing the chorus or bridge, which I'm going to get to those in a minute. There is a slight offshoot of the fill, which is a half measure fill, which is going to be a smaller fill that will kind of spice up something in the middle of a verse without transitioning completely to a different part of the song. The pickup is kind of like another offshoot of the fill. It is like a fill, but it is used to start a verse or to quickly bring up the energy with just a couple of hits on the drum. The build-up is something that typically leads to the climax, such as a chorus or a bridge, a particularly powerful bridge. It is pretty much any groove that is used as long as it increases the volume over time. Typically, it's more of a driving type of groove. The breakdown is a third offshoot of a fill. It is more of a transition from a chorus into a verse, from higher intensity, higher volume, to lower intensity and lower volume. Now, these are all the different tools, not all of them, but many of the different tools that drummers can use and that I use. So for this, according to Masterclass, are some of the main compositions of a song. There is the introduction, there's the verse, the chorus, the bridge, and the outro. Now, how exactly a drummer plays really depends on what is on the intensity, what is happening in the song. But the intro, which, as it indicates, it happens at the beginning, is typically not played. It depends, like I said, on the type of song being played. But for me, especially with songs that I play, I don't usually play it because introductions are typically lower energy, lower volume, and don't really call for drums to be played in. The verse, typically done after the intro, again, always exceptions, focuses more on the words, and so while the intensity may be a little bit higher, the volume may be a little bit higher, the drums can still accent it in specific ways. So after the verse will come the chorus many times. The chorus really tries to emphasize the volume, and in so doing, emphasize the lyrics that happen in the volume, with the volume. The chorus is often repeated many times. The bridge serves as a mix-up between verses and choruses so that you can not just play the same thing over and over again. It doesn't get really repetitive very quickly. Bridges can often be the most powerful part of a song, but they don't necessarily have to be. The outro is the end of a song. It can be either high intensity fade out, or it can also be something done with just a couple of notes played very quickly. It can have a wide range of things. So I am going to, with all this information, I know it's a lot of information, I am going to put together a little composition or a timeline of how I would play a song, to give you a better idea of how I would do a song. So this week, I'm going to be playing a song called How Great Is Our God for my church. At the beginning, there's an intro. Close after is the first verse. Hope this is big enough for everyone to see. Look good? Okay. So this is verse 1. Then comes the chorus. After the chorus, there is a second verse. After verse 2, there's going to be a second chorus. After that chorus is a bridge. After the bridge is the outro. So for this type of thing, for this specifically, I can't go into the specifics of why I would place where I would, but this is what I would do. Again, I don't typically play for the intro, so I would have a pickup here, like I had said, pickups into verse. Pick up here. I would play a standard groove through verse 1 and through the chorus with higher intensity through this one. I would then also have a fill going into the chorus because it's a chorus, like I said, it needs to have higher intensity. Going into the chorus, I would have a breakdown fill here to enter the second verse, in which I would have a similar groove. Grooves typically keep the same type of beat. Through this second verse, I would have a lower intensity, and going into the chorus, because this is the final chorus, I would have a build up going into here and a fill. Then I would have another fill and go in absolutely crazy with the groove here. And then for the outro, I would do a breakdown and either lighten my hits or drop out completely. This is a basic composition of how I would approach a song like this. Thank you.